First let me present the screen. Okay, in the last class we started mathematical logics 2, under which we defined few definitions and we started discussing one problem also. We spoke about open statement and we saw the difference between open statement and a statement. Okay, open statement is nothing but a declarative sentence, so which is made up of one or more variables in it. It becomes a statement if you replace the variables in by allowable choices, and those allowable choices are taken from the universal set or universe of discourse for that particular discussion. And I told you people that if you have got two variables in an open statement, you can expect two universal sets are defined for those two different variables. And if P of x is an open statement, you can note that if you replace x by 2 or if you replace x by some number or x by some choice, allowable choice, open statement becomes a statement. Please keep this in mind. We can speak about the truth value of the open statement. It is fixed. Truth value of the statement is fixed, whereas truth value of the open statement is not fixed. It changes with the values which you are choosing for the variables which are present in it. Now quantifiers comes into the picture. Quantifier speaks about, we see two kinds of quantifiers. One is universal quantifier, other one is existential quantifier. Universal quantifier refers to every element from the universal set, and existential quantifier refers to some elements or at least one element from the universal set. So now the next part of the question is, how do you find the truth value of the quantified open statements? See, to discuss the truth value of a open statement, we need all these things. We need quantifier attached to it. We need the universal set for the discussion. Okay, if we have that much, so then we can speak about the truth value of such quantified open statements. And this is what we discussed in the last class. For all x, s of x. S of x is some arbitrary open statement. Open statement, it may be some compound statement or it may be a primitive statement. Now the question is, when do we call this open statement as true and when do we call it as false? See, to prove for all x, s of x is a true statement, I need to show it is true for every element from the universal set. So that is why what I suggested you people. So try to prove for all x, s of x is false. You always go for this. Try to prove it is false. So because proving it is false is simple, as we need to identify only one element from the universal set for which the statement becomes false. So try to prove it is false. When it is not possible to prove it is false, claim it is a true statement. But whereas in case of there exists x, s of x, try to show it is a true statement. Okay, try to find one element from the universal set for which the open statement becomes true, so that we can claim it's a true statement. When it is not possible for us to identify one element for which the statement is true, in that case we claim it is a false statement. And I told you that, so these two are not negations of each other. And for that one I gave you the example also. We just okay, I have not written the example here. We will see that in the later stage. We will see the examples. So whenever you say for all x, s of x is a true statement, at that point of time you can note there exists x, s of x also becomes a true statement. So that is why we are not saying that. Okay, that is why we are not saying, so there exists x, s of x, we are not saying these two are negations of each other. Okay, let me just move further. Yeah, and in the last class we started doing this problem. Okay, we considered P of x is x square minus 8x plus 15 equal to 0, and we know that only for x equal to 3 and 5 this becomes true statement. For remaining all integers it becomes a false statement. And Q of x is true if x is odd number. If x is even, Q of x becomes false. R of x is true for all positive integers. If you can say any positive integer, it's a true statement. For the negative integers along with 0, it becomes false. And we know that negations of these statements are true, so when these are all false. So which means other than 3 and 5, for the remaining all integers it's a true statement. For x is in even number, negation Q of x is true. If x takes the value less than or equal to 0, this negation R of x becomes a true statement. Okay, and under which we started discussing truth values of these compound statements. We were talking about this. And before going further, let me just see what are the minimal cases we need to consider. Okay, what are the minimal cases we need to consider to determine the truth values of the open statements? Now, let me just fill up this table that gives an idea for us. Okay, now we are talking about both definition of the connectives. So we need the definition of connectives as well, the definition of the quantifiers. That is, what the role of universal quantifier and what is the role of existential quantifier. We need both. Now in this example, let me just check. So when do we have it as false? Okay, when do we claim it is a false statement, and when do we claim it's a true statement? We are talking about the minimal conditions we need to check. Okay, I told you that whenever you have got for all x, try to prove it is a false statement. Don't try to show it as true. Okay, try to prove it is a false statement. Okay, when do we get this is a true, or when do we get this is false? Friends? Yeah, so to say it is a false statement, I just need to show either P of A or Q of A is false. I just need to show any one of this is false, it's enough for us to prove for all x, P of x conjunction Q of x is a false statement. Okay, when it is not possible for us to show this, so in that case we claim it's a true statement. Otherwise it's a true statement. So if you succeeded in proving for every x, that is when we not succeeded in doing this, so we claim it's a false statement. We claim it's a true statement. What about there exists x P of x conjunction Q of x? So when do we say this is true or false? For this one, what should be, what I have told you people, for there exists, what should be, what we are supposed to try to prove? Yeah, we need to show it is a true statement. Show P of A is true and Q of A is true. You need to prove both are true statements here. I need to identify one example to claim this one. So otherwise it is a true statement. Otherwise it is a false statement. What about the disjunction for this one? For all what I have told you, prove it is false statement. When do we have it is false? Very good. So identify A in such a way that P of A and Q of A both false. When it is not possible for us to show this, so claim it's a true statement. When do we say it is true then? Very good. Show either P of A is true or Q of A is true. This is enough. Otherwise it is a false statement. See, we are going with a combination of universal quantifier or existential quantifier with the definition of the connectives. Okay, what about this one? Okay, so P of x is true, that is P of A is true and Q of A is false. Very good. Okay, otherwise it's a true statement. Okay, what about the implication? What about this one? You have two possibilities. Show P of A is false. That's enough. Otherwise, show P of A and Q of A both true. Oh, I'm sorry, I need. Yeah, that's correct. Show P of A is false. If you just make P of A false, it's enough for us to claim it's a true statement. Otherwise, show P of A, Q of A both are true. So in both the cases, it becomes a true statement. Otherwise, it's a false statement. Yeah, that's what. When P of A is false, I need not to think about Q of A, right? Yeah, that's why I just said that. Directly prove P of A is false. If possible, do that. When it is otherwise, go for a case where P of A, Q of A both are true. Okay. What about this one? Biconditional for all x. When do we say it is false? Okay, so very good, very good. So show both are true or both are false. Okay, no, I need to show any one of this is true or any one of, I need to show any one of this is true. That's enough, fine. Is it not? Need to show one is true, other is false. Okay. So P of A is true and Q of A is false. Otherwise, show P of A is false and Q of A is true. Go for any one of these two. Okay, so what about this one? Otherwise it is a true statement. Very good. What about there exists X case? Which one? For otherwise you are saying? No, both should match. If both are matching, only in that case it's a true statement. No. Yeah, but still minimal. I am talking about for all X. Okay, you are talking about the biconditional definition. With respect to biconditional definition, what you are telling is right. With respect to for all X, I need to show it is a false statement. I written show it is false. What should be done? Yeah. Okay, what about this one? For there exists X. Okay, P of A, Q of A, both true. Or we just find an example where P of A and Q of A both false. Okay, otherwise it's a true statement. So otherwise it's a false statement. What about the exclusive OR? Okay, it is completely the negation of these two. So I need to go in the other way around. So I need to show it's a false statement. I need to identify one example where P of A and Q of A both true, or P of A and Q of A both false. Okay, in general, if you prove biconditional is a true statement, obviously the other one is a false statement. So exclusive OR becomes a false statement. It just goes in that direction. These two are exactly the opposite of each other. Okay, and in this case here I need to show that to show it is a true statement, I need to prove, so P of A is true and Q of A is false. One example to do this. Otherwise P of A is false and Q of A is true. So otherwise it's obviously a false statement. Okay, I hope people are comfortable with this now. Okay, now let me just go further. Let me talk about the same example. Let me continue with this example. Okay, let me consider the next problem now. For the same example, let me just continue. So it doesn't matter which problem we are talking about. Let me not concentrate much on the problems. Let me just concentrate on the concepts. Okay, please try this one now. Problem number 4. I want for all X, Q of X, exclusive OR, negation Q of X. What is the truth value of this? For all X, Q of X, exclusive OR, negation Q of X. One is the answer. So why it is 1? Very good. So one of the statement is always false here, and the other statement should be true statement, and it is applicable for every number. What you just take any number from the universal set, so it's applicable. So it's a true statement. That's good. Okay, for all X, Q of X, biconditional negation Q of X. What about this? Good. So whenever you have got exclusive or is a true statement for the same quantifier, so the biconditional has to be the negation of this. That's good. Sixth one. So please try this. There exists X, R of X implies P of X. R of X is what? X greater than 0. Okay, very good. So it is a true statement. It's a true statement. For that one I can give an example. Very good. Your answer is fine. X is equal to 3. You can also consider X is equal to 5. Good. Okay, next. Okay, what about for this one? For all X, R of X implies P of X. What is the truth value of this? Try to show it is false. Can you find one X for which this fails? To say implication is false, what should be done? Show hypothesis is true with the conclusion is false. Can you find one X for which R of X is true with P of X is false? Very good. It is false statement. So you can take any number other than 3 and 5. You can take any positive integer other than 3 and 5 for which your R of X is a true statement with P of X is a false statement. Okay, so that's good. Okay, try this one. So for all X, P of X implies Q of X conjunction R of X. What about this? For all X, P of X implies Q of X conjunction R of X. Yeah, for all X is there, try to show it as a false statement. Identify one value of X for which P of X is true with this is false. Now let me just see, is it what? When X is 2, it becomes a true statement. Try to show it is false. For all X is there, right? When you have got universal quantifier, try to show it is false. So try to find one X for which P of X is a true statement. P of X is not false. P of X is a true statement for which any one of this is false. P of X is true with any one of this is false. So we know that P of X is true only for 3 and 5. Okay, for 3 and 5, do we have any one of the statement is false? No, very good. Yes, very good. It's a true statement. So when you are concluding your answers, please be careful. So don't look at the connectives first. First preference should be always given to the quantifiers. So things will be very simple here, but I've seen students doing mistakes here. That's why I'm just discussing more examples. So I'm not interested in talking about the different problems. Like instead of P of X, I can just take another example. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the concepts, how you people are understanding. That's important here. See, don't look at the connectives first. So look at the quantifier and then decide whether you need to prove it false or true. Identify that one first. So since in this problem you have got universal quantifier, I want to show it is a false statement. So to show it is false, so identify I have got an implication. Implication says that identify one value of X for which hypothesis is true with the conclusion is false. Here hypothesis becomes true only for 3 and 5. And you can note that for 3 and 5 both of these two are true. 3 and 5 both are odd numbers, 3 and 5 both are positive integers. So it becomes a true statement. So which means that we do not have even a single number X for which my hypothesis is true with the conclusion is false. So that is why I claimed it is a true statement. So this is how we should proceed. Thank you, good try. Okay, let me try the next one. And in this example, if I consider there exists X, P of X implies Q of X conjunction R of X. What is the truth value? What is the truth value here? True. and just keep this in mind. For all x s of x always logically implies, for all x s of x is true, always implies there exists x s of x is also a true statement. I just don't need to think about it. Whenever the universal quantifier is true, existential quantifier is also true. Converse is not true. So with this is true, I cannot accept this is the true statement. But whenever the universal quantifier is true, this has to be true, because here we have proved that the statement is true for every element from the universal set. For this one, what I need to do? I need to identify one element from the universal set for this s of x is true. When we have proved it for the whole universe, it has to be true even for the few elements which we consider from the universal set. So it has to be a true statement. And you can note that negation of this one says this. Whenever you have got there exists x s of x is false, if this is a false statement, I just don't need to think. I can directly write for all x s of x is false, because there exists x s of x becomes false only when s of x is false for every element from the universal set. When it is proved for every element from the universal set, it is obviously true for any arbitrary, any particular element taken from the universal set, so it fails. So please keep this in mind. So for all x s of x true says there exists x s of x is true. There exists x s of x is false says for all x s of x is also false statement. Okay, let me proceed further. Problem number 8. So please try this one. For all x p of x disjunction q of x implies r of x. For all x p of x disjunction q of x implies r of x. What is the truth value of this? For all x p of x disjunction q of x implies r of x. First look at the quantifier. What should be done? We should show it is false. Then come inside. We have got the implication. To make implication false, I should choose an element x in such a way that this is true with this is false. Is it possible to find one x for which this is a true statement with this is false statement? Is it possible to do that? Is it possible to find one integer for which this p of x disjunction q of x is a true statement with r of x is false? I need to make any one of this is true. That's enough for us. So do you mean it's a true statement? Okay, but I say it's a false statement. Yes, very good answer. If I consider x is equal to minus 3, okay, it fails. For x equal to minus 3 is an odd number, so it becomes a true statement, whereas r of minus 3 is what? Minus 3 greater than 0, it fails. So for x equal to minus 3, it becomes a false statement. Very good answer. Okay, if I consider existential quantifier for the same example, if I consider there exists x, p of x disjunction q of x implies r of x. What about this? True. Give an example to say it is a true statement. Very good. Take x is equal to 3, 5 or any positive odd number. For every positive odd number, it's a true statement. Or you can also consider negative odd numbers. So for that, your hypothesis itself is a negative even numbers. Okay, for negative even numbers, your hypothesis itself false. Okay, so that I need not to look into r of x. Even in that case, it becomes a true statement. You can give so many examples. So you just gave one example. Let me take the same thing. So you gave me x is equal to 3, I think. Yeah, you can take x is equal to 3 here. So with x equal to 3, so both of these two are true statement, but there is no need for us to make these two true. I just need to make any one of the statement is true, that's enough for us. Or just make the hypothesis itself is false. Okay, so try this one. 12. For all x, negation p of x implies negation R of x. Negation P of x implies negation R of x. What is the truth value of this? Negation P of x. I need to make it is true. X is equal to, yeah, you are right, x equal to 1, 3, both are fine. Yeah, if you take x is equal to 1 positive number, you just need to do this. See, when you are proving it is a false statement, you should choose in such a way that this should be false. Just concentrate on this one first. So this should be false, and for that one this should be true statement. Is it possible to find like that? Negation R of x says that the numbers which are less than or equal to 0. So which means that if I consider the number greater than 0, this becomes a false. Greater than 0, it becomes false. So for those numbers, do we have negation P of x is a true statement? Yes. If you take x is equal to 1, very first number, for x is equal to 1, negation P of x is a true statement because P of x false there. Okay, since P of x is false for 1, negation P of x is true. So because negation P of 1 is not satisfying, x equal to 1 is satisfying this inequality. So this is a true statement, whereas negation R of x is false. So it is a false statement. I can just take this example, x is equal to 1, the very first number. Okay, please try this one. So 13th, there exists x, negation P of x implies Q of x. What about this? Negation P of x implies Q of x. So can we find, I have what there exists. So that I told you people very clearly, first look at the quantifier. So think what should be done. Yeah, it's a true statement. X equal to 2. If x is equal to 2, negation P of x, it becomes a true statement, and Q of 2 is a false statement. It is a false statement. You said it is a true statement. X equal to 2 is not an example for this. For x is equal to 2, negation P of x is true, right? Since P of x is false, negation P of x becomes true. It cannot be x equal to 2. Very good. X is equal to 1. That's nice. I should choose an odd number. Okay. Otherwise, there is no need for me to make it true. Okay. Make it false. Just make negation P of x false. If you choose x is equal to 3, that's absolutely fine. Okay. For x equal to 3, negation P of x itself becomes false. See, when we are talking about there exists x, we have got two options with respect to implication. I need to prove both of these two are true, otherwise negation P of x itself is false. In this example, with x is equal to 1, so this becomes a true statement, even this is true, that's good. Otherwise, if you take any number other than 3 and 5, okay, if you just choose x equal to 3 and 5 itself, this itself becomes a true statement, sorry, false statement, so that the implication becomes true for us. That's good. Okay, like this I can just consider, if you want I can just frame your own example. You just bring P of x, Q of x, negation R of x. You just bring whatever you want. You just write the quantifier and you write the implication or this exclusive or whatever that you want. You just give a try to them. But most of the time I just spoke more examples on implication, because implication is very, very important for us. It is always difficult for us to analyze the implication than other expressions. Because when we talk about the conjunction, it is very clear to us. So when we talk about disjunction, things are simple. But when we are talking about the implication, it is quite complicated one. Because so we have what so when we are proving a true statement, when we are proving there exists x P of x is a true statement, so we are supposed to identify. We can just prove it in two ways. So one way is prove the hypothesis itself is false. Otherwise, prove that hypothesis is true with conclusion is also true statement. But when we are talking about for all x implication, so I need to show for every x our hypothesis is true. Whenever our hypothesis is true, conclusion is also a true statement. Only in that case it becomes a true statement. So what we are trying there, we are trying to show it is a false statement. That is, we are identifying X in such a way that my hypothesis is true, the conclusion is false. Okay. So like this, you can just find many examples under this setting. Okay, just find many examples. It is there in the question bank. Just now we discussed question number 2. So question number 3 works in the same lines. I want you people to try them. Okay, you can do that later. And even the question number 4 works in the same lines. So but in the question number 4, I just made a small change in it. So first time I'm taking the set of all integers. Second time I'm changing the universal set. So my universal set contains set of all positive integers here. And third time my universal set contains only 2 numbers, 2 and 5 in it. Okay, so with respect to this, in what way the truth value of these 4 statements changes, the people please just check out. So things are simple, please do it from your side. I'm not discussing them. So if you find it any difficulty, let me know. We will discuss that. Now let me just move to the next kind of problems. So these are very important for us. See, these things are, this is quite different from the previous examples. Here we need to put our examples. We need to express the symbolic form. We need to know both the things. That is like converting a symbolic form to the sentence form and sentence form to the symbolic form. So we need to know both. So for this one, so we need to, I just want to discuss few examples here before getting into this. Okay, let me take up this example. Problem number 2. If the problem is given like this, how do we find what is the quantifier which is present in the statement? Okay, sometimes the quantifiers are not given explicitly. In that case, how do we find them? Okay, for the set of all real numbers, consider sin square x plus cos square x equal to 1. This is what the statement is. For the set of all real numbers, consider sin square x plus cos square x equal to 1. Consider sin square x plus cos square x equal to 1. If it is given like this, so can you give me the quantified open statement corresponds to this? Here what can be noted here? Universal set is set of all real numbers, and we are saying that we are talking about this statement for all x, that is sin square x plus cos square x is equal to 1. This is what the given statement is. Otherwise, if we just call the sin square x plus cos square x is equal to 1 as some p of x, in that case this statement reduces to this form: for all x, p of x. Okay, so we can think about the truth value of them later. So first for time being, I just want to discuss about how to express the given sentence in symbolic form. Now, this first example, have a look at this one. If a number is rational, then it is real. If a number is rational, then it is real. And otherwise, they can put the same problem like this: if x is rational, then it is real. Then it is real number. So can you give me the quantified open statement corresponds to this sentence? Very good. For all x, p of x implies q of x. Here this is very good, very good. So your universal set is set of all reals. Absolutely fine. So it is real. X is real. This is my q of x. This is my q of x, and this is my p of x. See, when the problem is given like this, it is so simple for us because we know the variable x which is present in it. But when the question is given like this, you can note that they have not mentioned the variable. They have not mentioned the variable, but still you can see this arbitrariness here. If a number is rational, okay, this arbitrariness, the article which is present here speaks about the arbitrariness in that one. So with respect to that, we say, so we are talking about some arbitrary number, means it should be, if x is real, if x is rational, then it is a real number. And please keep this in mind whenever the implication is there, whenever implication comes into the picture. So we should always take it is for all x, because implication itself does that. Implication itself works on arbitrary elements. Like if x is rational, then it is real. It says that you will take the elements from the universal set one by one and just check whether it is satisfying the conclusion or not. That is how it works. So as a result, in general, whenever implication comes, you just take for all x with this. But it doesn't mean that for every implication for all x is true. So that is why, if at all, if they are talking with respect to the existential quantifier, they are going to mention you that for some real number x, okay, they will mention you like this. For some real number x, if x is rational, then it is real. If it is given like that, in that case we are going to mention the existential quantifier, and we will write there exists x, p of x implies q of x. When the implication is given alone without mentioning the quantifier, means we are talking about the universal quantifier. That is how we should take. Okay, please keep this one thing in your mind. This is very important point. Okay, so with this basic idea, we can just speak about the examples now. So let me consider an example from the question bank itself. Okay, if I just can find an example. Okay, let me consider this example itself. But I wanted to discuss more examples. This much is not enough for me. Okay, we'll come back to this example. First, let me take a different example. Problem number 3. Okay, so these are my open statements. So P of x is x greater than 0. So Q of x is even. R of x is a perfect square. X is a perfect square. Next, S of x says that x is divisible by 4. X is divisible by 4, and T of x is divisible by 5. Okay, these are the open statements we have, and the universal set is given by set of all integers. Even for this example, they have mentioned it is set of all integers is the universal set. So without the universal set, we can't speak about the truth values of the given statement. Sometimes it is possible for us. Sometimes we can easily identify that. Sometimes it is just impossible. By looking at the problems, we can identify the universal set. Sometimes it is not possible for us to identify the universal sets. So that time we can't speak about the truth value of the statement. Okay, let me consider my first case. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Write the statements in symbolic form. Okay, statements should be written in symbolic first. Write in symbolic form. So then go for writing the truth value of the statement. This is what the first problem is. At least one integer is even. Okay, at least one integer is even. This is what the given statement is. I want you people to put it in quantified open statement form. At least one integer is even. What is P of x? I'm talking about what? Yeah. at least one integer is even. Look at the statements here. X is even. Q of x is even. I am talking about at least one, which means I am talking about the existential quantifier. So this is there exists x, Q of x. That's all. What is the truth value of this one? We can find at least one even integer by universal set. Is it true? Yes, it's a true statement. Okay, try the second one now. There exists a positive integer that is even. So this is, there exists a positive integer that is even. What about this? There exists a positive integer that is even. So there exists speaks about the existential quantifier for sure. Very good. Okay, what next? Yeah, very good. Positive integer speaks about P of x. Conjunction Q of x. That's all. And what is the truth value of this statement? Yeah, so we can find a positive integer that is even, that is if I take x is equal to 2, it's enough for us to say it's a true statement. But if I write for all x, if I write for all x, it fails. Okay, if I write for all x, it fails. With respect to there exists x, it becomes a true statement. Okay, so third example. If x is even, then x is not divisible by 5. If x is even, then x is not divisible by 5. If x is even, then x is not divisible by 5. What I told, we have an implication. For an implication, what I have told you? Yes, it should always goes with a universal quantifier. It is very good. Q of x implies it is not T of x, negation T of x. We are saying not divisible, so it is negation T of x. Very good. See, implication always speaks about the arbitrariness. Implication directly speaks about the arbitrariness. So by default, we should take for all x. Okay. And what is the truth value of this? What is the truth value of for all x? For all x, what should be done? Try to show it is false. To show it is false, what should be done? For an implication, consider hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. That should be taken care. So what should be the value of x for which it becomes false? It is a false statement. Yeah, if I take x is equal to 4, so 4 is even number, and 4, what is the question? X is divisible by 4. So 4 is divisible by, T of x. So 4 is divisible by 5. It's wrong. So it's a true statement where a hypothesis is true, where the conclusion is false. So it's a false statement. But in this, yeah, you can take 10. In that case, what happens? So 10, this becomes a true. Very good. But look at this one. Oh, okay. You want to prove it is a. Yeah. Now even for x is equal to 4, it's a false statement only. Okay. What your answer is fine. But in this case, in your answer, you are saying x, if I take x is equal to 10, in that case, your hypothesis becomes true, even number, and it is divisible by 5. We are saying not divisible by 5, so that it fails. Yeah, that is also correct. Even number, not divisible. Oh, sorry. I should consider x is equal to 10 only. Your answer is correct. I'm sorry, x is equal to 4. We cannot consider this one. So if I consider 4, this becomes a true statement. I want to make negation T of x false. So your answer is correct. 4 is wrong. It should be 10 only. So for 10, this becomes a true statement. Whereas negation T of x. So negation T of x is false. Yeah, in that case, it becomes a true statement. What is negation T of x? X4 is not divisible by 5. That becomes a true statement in that case. Your conclusion is true means it becomes a true statement. Since we are talking about for all x, I need to find an example which says it's a false statement. When it is not possible, we claim it's a true statement. So right now, if I consider 4, this 4 is an even number and it is not divisible by 5. My hypothesis, conclusion both becomes true. But for x is equal to 10, so this is correct now. So it's an even number and it is divisible by 5. So it becomes a false statement. To claim it is a false statement. That's good. So try next one. No even integer is divisible by 5. No even integer is divisible by 5. See, whenever the sentences are given like this, so that sentence itself is saying no even integer is divisible by 5. We are referring to the what universal quantifier. It just speaks about the arbitrariness directly. So, and we can put it like this. No, we should not put like that. Actually, this is equivalent to its previous sentence. Actually, no even integer is divisible by 5 is same as saying this. If x is even, then x is not divisible by 5. Okay, it is saying that if x is even, then it is not divisible by 5. Okay, it is equivalent to this. 3 and 4 are not two different problems, but the sentences are given in different forms. Okay, so they are the same. Okay, next one. There exists an even integer divisible by 5. Fifth one. There exists an even integer divisible by 5. What about this? There exists an even integer divisible. Please come again. Q of x implies okay, divisible by 5. Yeah, it's good. Is it true statement? Yeah, good. The next one, please try this one. If x is even, then x is perfect. If x is even and x is perfect square, if x is even and x is perfect square, then x is divisible by 4. Then x is divisible by 4. Then x is divisible by 4. What about this statement? Very good. R of x. Yeah. Okay, divisible by 4 is not s of x, it is t of x, I think. Okay, s of x, it's correct. Implies s of x. Is it true statement? Is this true? We are saying that every even perfect square is divisible by 4. In short, okay, if x is okay, this is what I can just put it like this. So this can be put it like this. Every even perfect square is divisible by 4. Okay, this is the equivalent sentence for this. Keep this in mind. Every even perfect square is divisible by 4. That is for all x, Q of x conjunction R of x implies S of x. Is it a true statement? Look at the perfect squares. 4, even perfect square. 4, 16, 64. You can note that where if any number is a perfect square, even perfect square, definitely it is divisible by 4. It's a true statement always. We cannot find even a single example. We just cannot find even a single even perfect square which is not divisible by 4. It is a true statement. Okay, that's good. Okay, now the problem is the question is not visible to you people, and those who are not written, please make a note. So P of x means x greater than 0, Q of x means x is even, R of x means x is perfect square, S of x is divisible by 4, T of x means x is divisible by 5. Now, if the problem is given in symbolic form, I want people to put it in sentence form, in sentence form, and then write your truth value. Okay, so this is what the question is. For all x, R of x implies P of x. For all x, R of x implies P of x. R of x means perfect, x is perfect square, P of x means x is greater than 0. If x is perfect square, then x is greater than 0. You can write like this, otherwise we can put it like this. Okay, please keep this in mind, it is also correct. Every perfect square is a positive integer. Okay, this implication can be written in this form. So don't expect the implication always given in implication form. Even this one speaks about the implication. Every perfect square is a positive integer. So here in this example we wrote the conjunction. One of the example we wrote the conjunction. Yeah, this one. There exists a positive integer that is even. You can note that you can also put this in implication form. Even that's correct. So there exists x, P of x implies Q of x is also correct here. Okay, this one. If x is a perfect square, then x is greater than 0. If it is written in the form which they have given, you can also put it like this. Every perfect square is a positive integer. Okay, and the truth value of this one is definitely true. Second example. For all x, S of x implies Q of x. What about this? For all x, S of x implies Q of x. Very good. Every number divisible by 4 is an even number. Otherwise, if x is divisible by 4, then it is even number. Very good. That's a true statement again. Is it true statement? Is it true statement? Yeah, very good. Okay, next one. For all x, S of x implies negation T of x. For all x, S of x implies negation T of x. What about this? Very good. Every number divisible by 4. Every number divisible by 4 is not divisible by 5. Okay, what about the truth value of this one? False statement. Give me an example to say it is a false statement. Very good. X is equal to 20. So 20 is divisible by 4. It is also divisible by 5. So it fails. It is a false statement. So very good. So please try this on last example. There exists x, S of x conjunction negation R of x. S of x conjunction negation R of x. What about this? There exists x. Yeah, it's a what is the meaning of this? X is divisible by 4 and not a perfect square. So can we find at least one number which is divisible by 4 but not a perfect square? Yeah, very good. That's a true statement. X is equal to 16 or x is equal to 4 itself. So 4 is divisible by 4 and it is Okay, x is equal to 16, it fails, right? This is a negation r of x means it is not a true statement. That is what we are saying. It fails. It is not a true statement, it's a false statement. Sorry. Yeah, at least one of the statement is false here. Okay. And please put it in sentence form. In sentence form, what is the answer for this? S of x is divisible by 4. R of x is perfect square. Okay, such that x is divisible by 4 but not a perfect square. So can't we find an example of this kind to claim it as a true statement? Can't we find one number which satisfies this condition? Okay, if I consider x is equal to 20, what happens in that case? X is 20 is divisible by 4 and it is not a perfect square. Yeah, it is a true statement. With respect to there exists x, it is a true statement. If I consider universal quantifier, definitely it is a false statement. If I can consider all perfect squares to climb, it is a false statement. But since we have got there exists x, with your friend's example now x is equal to 20, definitely it becomes a true statement. Okay, so like this we can just till evening and we can just spend another 4 to 5 hours on this itself. But that is not required I think. See, people are quite comfortable now. So only thing is people need to think. Okay, please think about these problems. So please try up to question number 5 from the question bank. So please try to work out all the question from question number 1 to question number 5. In the next class, so we will discuss how to write the converse, inverse, contrapositive and how to write the negation. We will discuss this part in detail. And afterwards we should speak about, okay, till now you can note that up to till question number 11. So we discussed the negation, converse, inverse and contrapositive. And from question number 12 onwards, so we are going to discuss about rules of inference. And after rules of inference, we are supposed to discuss the proofs and disproofs. So next 3 classes, we are just completing this. And for you people, it's a homework. So please try all the problems till question number 5. If you have any doubts, let me know. We will discuss. And I will send you the notes for this part also. So please go through the notes today itself. Thank you all. Let me just download the attendance. Please wait for me. Yeah, it is done now. Thank you all. Have a nice day.